the boards. And right now you're locked onto General Hydroponics Volume 4. Medicine for your plants, music for your soul. Play a tune.
Going to a party where music is in session. Going to a party where music is in session. We're going to a party, a General Hydroponics party. We're going to a party, a General Hydroponics party. Going to a party where music is in session. Going to a party where music is in session. Session, session.
Rasta stand for positive. Love is all we got to give.
Bringing forth the remedies. Listen to your melodies.
We're living for beyond today. Never we be led astray.
Come my people, fight again. Natty dread, fight again.
A Rastafari, I'm a senior. He make sure no Babylon come in ya. While me a stuff about joy and me steamers. We come to bring reality to all the dreamers.
Yeah, cause Babylon, we not fear ya. Destruction and corruption will reveal ya. Now the people feel that music is our healer. Without words and our philosophies will free ya.
Rasta stand for positive. Love is all we got to give.
Bringing forth the remedies. Listen to your melodies.
Ooh, we're living for beyond today. Never we be led astray.
Come my people, fight again. Natty dread, fight again. Running like a river, keep it flowing on today. People pushing new directions, got to change reality. Never let the system, Natty, get up in your face. No, we can't be stopped now, Natty dread, be on the way.
Babylon, chastise the youths them to come on to them. Tell you it's all false pretense. Tell you it's all false pretense. Destroying the youths them with bad influence. Tell you it now make no sense. Oh, Rasta is for positive. Love is all we got to give.
Bringing forth the remedies. Listen to your melodies.
We're living for beyond today. Never we be led astray.
Yeah, tell my people, fight again. Natty dread, fight again.
One love is what we want. One love,
Yeah, it's what we need. Yeah.
one love, got to get to what we want. One love,
It's what we need. Yeah.
one love is what we want.
that 425. Man, I got a vibe. Man, I got so high I couldn't drive. Couldn't even drive. Look at what I did by 25. 25, nigga. Dizzy OG think we alive. We alive. Cause I always got that 425. You know I got it. I always got that 425. You know I got it, nigga. You know I keep that 425. Blaze one with me then. Dizzy OG think we alive. Hey. Hey, Dizzy OG all up in my paper. Hey, but is he right about to run for mayor? Whoa. Started my label, now they think I'm giving out favors. Too bad, a couple niggas that I used to fuck with turned into haters. Don't be hitting my line, cause I ain't got the time. I told you once, nigga don't front online. I know what the fuck you want. Seeing through these fools, mad cause I make their girlfriend booty move. With my G ways, I'm just too damn cool. Nigga, what life do to you? Ayy, looking mad at me. I be smoking, I be mad happy. I don't really worry about these niggas that be making comments, throwing jabs at me. Dad hat feeling dab happy with the 425. Ayy, I love Vegas for the 24/7 side. You can see that I always got that 425. Man, I got a vibe. Man, I got so high I couldn't drive. Couldn't even drive. Look at what I did by 25. 25, nigga. Dizzy OG think we alive. We alive. Cause I always got that 425. You know I got it. I always got that 425. You know I got it, nigga. You know I keep that 425. Blaze one with me then. Dizzy OG think we alive. Hey.
Word around town, it's every down the road. They ain't never lied. All my bitches fly. April 25. Yeah, that's right. Bitch, I feel like Pac, circa 95. Screaming death to all my haters. We can't let it slide. Bitch, I'm about to ride. Suicide. It's a suicide. Fucking with the squad. Never televised. Pray to stay alive. Play your lane or test your luck against the crew. Bitch, you decide. Foolish pride. Got these bitches out of pocket. I'm just cheaping with the tribe. Let's get high. Bitch, I'm blowing back to back to back. Kobe Shack. I'm too fucking high to see a hoe react. I'm too fucking faded to see you salty. I made it. They hated from the beginning. My pedals still hit the pavement. Oh, looking mad at me. I be smoking, I be mad happy. Yeah, they used to laugh at me. Now promoters don't cash at me. Money long, now weed is strong. Now bitch, I be living that high life. Blowing that crispy the highlight. Pass me a light, now the vibes right.
Always got that 425. Man, I got a vibe. Man, I got so high I couldn't drive. Couldn't even drive. Look at what I did by 25. 25, nigga. Dizzy OG think we alive. We alive. Cause I always got that 425. You know I got it. I always got that 425. You know I got it, nigga. You know I keep that 425. Blaze one with me then. Dizzy OG think we alive. Hey.
dfzradio.com.
Feeling so high. Roll up that hydro make me feel fine. Roll up that hydro make me feel fine. Cook up that hydro make me feel high. Feeling so high. Roll up that hydro make me feel fine. Roll up that hydro make me feel fine.
We're open, 5 o'clock, the studio's open, we're officially in full effect. Welcome to Farm to Table Cannabis on DFZ Radio, proudly shown on High Times TV. It's your cannabis chef's favorite cannabis chef, the world's deadliest chef, 5-time world champion, deathmatch cook-off winner. Don't imitate it, can't be duplicated. So go tune in right now, DFZ Radio, Farm to Table Cannabis Live. We got a good show lined up for you today. We're the only show offering you edible reviews, edible news, interviews with some of the top brands and names in the cannabis-infused industry. And I am the Hydro Chef. And as always, we got the sound man Saint making us sound good every day. Saint, you got some good music queued up for us today?
Oh, you know it. Got them jams, got them hydro jams for your ears.
You got some of that hydrophonics for our ears.
That's right.
I want to talk about hydroponics. He keeps us with the hydrophonics.
Yes, sir.
And together, we're going to start a boy band.
Hey. There you go.
So check it out, though. Saint also likes to play some of his music during the break. So if you call in and you request something, you might just win something too.
Yeah, you might only hear some jammy jams.
Shout out to the sponsors, DFZ Radio, GH, Botanicare, everybody out there listening. We got products to give away, 562-653-0707. Call in. We got Kevin Christian from edible cosmics in the studio. We're about to get litter and higher than giraffe's ass here in a minute.
We lit.
So we got some new flavors from them, some dough, some cookie dough to go over.
You dabbed us out last time.
Well, shoot, you guys melted my brain last time with the edibles, so I thought it was only, as Dirty Bastard said, he said, "Oh, Dirty Bastard, you bust at me, I bust back. I'm going to throw some shit at you, you throw some heat at me, I'm going to throw some heat back at you."
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. So we always like to start off the show with some news, and we like to keep people up to date on all the stuff going on in the world right now. And we're going to take it out to Virginia for a second. Take me home, country roads. We got the new legislation that's been delayed for 3 years. They're finally going to put this on the speed track to get the Virginia lawmakers to make some things happen. So they're discussing the delay on the marijuana legalization that lasted and began in the retail sales. So they have legislation that allows for marijuana, but they can't have anywhere to purchase it yet. So what they need is to get the safe sales of cannabis out there for safe access. And so members of the commission outlined a proposal from the state's 4 licensed medical marijuana producers to begin selling recreational cannabis while the broader marketplace ramps up. The medical industry, which currently can only sell to patients registered with the State Board of Pharmacy, had unsuccessfully pushed for the measures as lawmakers debated legislation last year. But the proposal didn't make its way to the final bill because lawmakers said that they were worried it would give companies an unfair head start and make it harder for small and minority-owned businesses to compete later. So no safe access because it wasn't a level playing field. That's questionable legislation there. Every other state has legalized cannabis and has leveraged their existing medical market and to make not just increase access but generate tax revenue for funds and social equity priorities. The vice president said this from the policy for Columbia Care, which controls 2 of the state's medical marijuana licenses. So that's how the people that are actually selling the cannabis feel about it. And then here's how the lawmakers feel about it. They're sounding less comfortable with the decision to legalize marijuana without providing a way to buy it. And currently, the only legal way to obtain the drug is to grow it yourself or receive a gift from someone who has or even, arrange to grow it themselves. It's complicated. It's a fucked up way for you to have to try to find medicine in Virginia, which, up until recently, you couldn't even grow at home. So now people are having to just figure out at the drop of a switch how they're going to get their cannabis and not have safe access. So Virginia, get your shit together. David Mays, the General Assembly Legislative Analysis, said that the medical industry is suggesting lawmakers give up the temporary licenses and allow them to sell to recreational customers on the condition that each one is served as an incubator for 5 new licenses, which will qualify their plans for social equity programs. So it's a little step in the right direction, trying to get that passed so they can open up while they navigate the bureaucracy. Yep. But in the meanwhile, you got to grow your own. You want to hear how to fix your problems? Grow your own. You can't get any weed in Virginia?
Grow your own.
You know what the legal limit is? 6 plants. You know what that means? Grow your own. So, hey, take me home, grow your own, at your home. Let us Virginia.
If the legal limit's 6, then I just times that by 3.
Yeah, there you go.
6 per person.
For have your grandma growing some tree too, right? Well, let's take it to New Jersey for a minute. We'll check this out. 2% of the entire industry is the African Americans only account for 2%, and the industry has the ability to change that. Despite being disproportionately impacted by the war on drugs, African Americans only make up a small digit ownership of the nation's legalized cannabis market. After New Jersey legalized cannabis, all eyes were on the state as it implements the equity measures not seen before in previous legislation in other states. The state's Cannabis Regulatory Commission is scheduled to release regulations Thursday ahead of August 21st deadline established by law earlier this year that those rules and regulations are expected to lay the groundwork for what would be the equity program to look like the Gardens state could projectedly get $1.5 billion in cannabis space for retail locations. In a white paper released by June by Leafly, the leading cannabis news place on the DFZ radio network, is where I get all my fucking stories from. It's ranked New Jersey number 5 on the list of 19 states that have legalized cannabis for adult use. So there's no inequities for the United States, and that reflects the different microcosms that's going on in New Jersey right now. We'd like to think that the presumption to assume cannabis industry wasn't also going to suffer from these disparities, but unfortunately, then you put our additional layers on top of it with the criminalization and the health care, and it makes it a lot harder of the navigating the bureaucracy. So evaluating social equity effectiveness will require states to keep more detailed info on whether the state measures are actually working or not. So it's one thing to put the plans into place. Totally. They got to make sure that this shit works. I mean, out here in California, we've seen so much trial and error and a lot of guinea pig for people's money.
Yep.
And, I mean, if you want to do it right, I'm not sure that's the way to navigate. Let's get rules right the first time and not cost our hard workers, the people that were the foundation for this industry, people that were the first ones growing it when it was not legal. They, started this gangster shit, and this is the thanks they get. So, yeah, the social equity programs will be a big step in the right direction when it comes to New Jersey, and it's a emerging medical and cannabis recreational program. Speaking of picking up the mess, you guys, check out this one. So, remember MedMen? We talked about MedMen here a couple times. And these guys are going to be picking up the pieces from the MedMen, whatever you want to call, experiment. So Tuesday afternoon, Tilray announced that they've agreed to purchase the convertible bonds left over from the MedMen enterprise, and it's sought after to avoid its insolvency. The deal could eventually give a path for Tilray to purchase their own MedMen if marijuana is federally legalized in the United States, which is just not when, it's if. I mean, not if, it's when. So basically, the big guys that got split up, they're going to get picked up, and all those shares and all those shareholders are going to get stuck holding the bag. Just like it always happens in this cannabis industry. And the bigger company, Tilray, it's known for being able to emerge in this industry. It's not something that's just started. Tilray's been around for a while now, but you're going to see more and more companies like this that just start to.
So they just buy companies.
Well, they're gonna. That's what companies in the cannabis industry now. Everyone's into acquisitions and mergers. That's where it's at right now.
Every single dispensary I work with, I swear, half of them change their name, change ownership.
Oh, fast.
It's crazy.
Well, you look at the way the CEO ownerships change at some of these top level companies. You want to see some of the more successful companies. They're the ones that have had the CEOs in place a long time. The ones that are kind of floundering and flip flopping, you see them going through. There's always that scapegoat or the guy who trashed it. Dan Blizzard. So we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and then we're gonna come back. But wait, hold on, I got one great next news story. This one's hilarious, you guys. You guys thought fucking weed was crazy for pets and shit. Well, they're talking about psychedelics for animals now. Psilocybin for pets to help with their anxiety, anti-anxious medicine, and they're just talking about this. They're just scratching the surface now. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but call in 562-653-0707. We're going to talk psychedelics and your pets on Farm to Table Cannabis. And we'll be back with Edibles Cosmic, Kevin and Christian, dfzradio.com.
How you want it, I can speak on how I feel, cause I'm living for the moment. I ain't worried about forever, cause forever ain't forever. Like I know I said I love her, but I hope I don't regret it. Even people in my circle think I'm tripping, say I'm different. If it wasn't for the money, then I probably wouldn't listen. I got everybody waiting like, when is she gonna blow up, blow up? And I just pray that everybody show up, everybody show up, everybody show up, everybody show up. Like how you want it. Everybody show up, everybody show up, everybody show up. Living for the moment, I ain't worried about forever. Show Take it how you want it, yeah. Blow up. Take it how you want it, yeah.
Pull the pin, flip the trigger, shaking like a jellyfish. Fire in the stinger, felt to the itch and stricken by the scratch and tear my hair out. The brink, scared to blink, slip the wink and finish the countdown. Been at point one since the sundial, touched upon a decade. No parades needed, skip the trophy. The keys on the dotted line, approach me with the next time my life away. It's the type of blast to make you listen. The keys been ignition, got that pedal push, steady on cement boots. Lock me and shoot, watch me build it from the flow up, flow up. Everybody show up, something about that room getting smaller when we show up. Nothing about that room getting smaller when we show up. Show up.
Everybody.
We show up.
Running that course till we grow up. Honestly, I'd rather gather dynamite than blow up. My wolf blitz, bull kitten, still the same, we all bullshit. But I see your frame and rebuild, listen, right to change. Gotta kill the game on my double O. Move around the corner, that's trouble road. And we drown your sound when the bass come around with this pound for pound on my hustler. We rock to the city, high top, Serengeti night watch. Always ready, sight lock, you confetti what? Let the party start already. Got the cleanest type of messy, another obstacle to everybody grow up. Make the party start already. Got an army of the heavy, now we audible, so everybody show up.
Yo, it's BKJ on Team King, and you listening to DFZ Radio. What?
Hey guys, this is Alice Moon. I'm sending some major love to the hydroponic chef. He did an epic job at the High Times Cook-Off, so go follow him. I'm high now. Sending some love.
This is Mark with Cannabis Supper Club, and you're listening to DFZ Radio, Farm to Table Cannabis with the hydroponic chef.
I've been up 6 days.
All right, welcome back. We had to take a quick little smoke break out of the kitchen. You know, the kitchen was getting a little smoky in there, so we had to take it out back for a minute. This is Farm to Table Cannabis. Welcome back. We've got Kevin from Edible Cosmics in the building. Creator, chef, all-around unique individual. This guy's been doing it for a minute. This is not his first episode of Farm to Table Cannabis by any means. He's been in the studio puffing and stuffing with us for a minute. And he brought along Christian, too.
Yo, what's happening?
Also, you're not your first time here. But
yeah.
you got a little more confidence on the mic this time.
Yeah, man. I drank a Modelo before, you know what I mean?
We didn't dab you out in the pre-sesh.
That's right?
It was actually a Corona.
Yeah, okay, Corona, okay. He's like, I want to make sure I say the right beer. Yeah, we're trying to get sponsored by Miller Lite, right? Yeah, it's Miller Lite. It's fucking Miller time. So you guys, 2 years has gone by since we've had the opportunity to be together, share some edibles, get educated and medicated. Kev, you had us laughing and rolling last time, bro. You told us some of your stories about working on reality TV, doing some producing, being in the same room with Donald Trump, President of the United States, pre-president. Man, I couldn't have imagined making a jump from such a weird industry like that over to this industry, and then giving people like us, like who try to fake like we're doing media and make shows and stuff, and then it must be easy to look at that and be like, gosh, there must be a better way to do this. But that's why we like to bring people like you on who has not just an idea of edible world, but the idea of the media world too. Yeah. And, you know, one of the things we wanted to ask you was so many sellouts in this industry and so many people trying to find their way in marketing. And, first of all, thank you for taking another time to come on here. But, what's more important right now in this game that we find ourselves in? Is it marketing at all costs, or representing your culture, which is the edibles now? Because we're a lot of companies are getting torn in between the two, and I mean everyone wants to call everyone a sellout. But the thing about selling out, and Saint, tell me if I'm wrong here, motherfucker, someone's got to be buying or you can't sell out. So
exactly.
These are the good times we've been waiting for. So how are you able to blend the culture with the professionalism? And is this year you guys fucking?
Well, I mean, it's our 4th year now. We're just expanding to Massachusetts, which is kind of fun. New state for us. So hopefully by the end of this year, beginning next year, we should be available in Massachusetts. But as far as marketing and stuff, we take a different approach. It's I don't know, it's an odd way to go, but we just stand by making great products and trying to do the best we can for our customers and what they want and what they enjoy and consistency and we tried some billboards initially and did some of that stuff, but we just didn't found much luck in it. We found really connecting with our customers and getting into the shops and just making sure the shops are happy and the sales follow that. And we haven't really, come off that line much. We have a real strict guideline with, which cookies hit the shelves and which ones don't. I'm sure there's cookies that you probably would say, why are you throwing those away? But they just didn't live up to the standards that I thought they should be when we put them out.
Well, there's some quality control that goes into this side of the industry that represents our culture.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
When we talk about cannabis, there's a debate on hand trim versus machine trim.
Sure.
When you talk about making edibles, there's a debate on handmade craft product versus machine industrial made.
Yeah, for sure.
By hand is always better, honestly.
But still, there's no wrong way to do things. And I think that there's a place in this world for craft, and there's a place in this world for professionalism. You've brought some professionalism to the craft world now.
Thank you.
So let's talk about in the 2 years that we haven't got to see you and how the lockdown and COVID has affected the business and how it's made you think outside the box.
Yeah.
And, talk a little bit about that.
It was a crazy year last year. Obviously, we continued to operate. We continued to sell. We actually had some upswings in our sales. Sales were coming. Every time
people are spending time at home.
Yeah, and every time one of those those $600 payments came out, we saw sales go up for sure. People were using the stimulus checks. Stimulus checks for buying their product.
Booming.
We launched our dough, which just seemed a really crazy, simple thing to launch. We were already making it. The only thing we had to do is heat, bake our flour that goes into it, the actual baking flour, not the cannabis flour, because that's the only raw product that was in our cookies.
So no raw product. Your guys' product is very shelf stable.
It is.
Got to be refrigerated, obviously, but we're talking over 6 months shelf life.
Yeah, and refrigeration is funny because there's nothing in it that goes bad at all. You actually don't need to refrigerate it, but we say that because if you don't refrigerate it and you take it home and try to bake it, your cookies are going to be terrible. Not terrible tasting. They're going to
look weird.
They're going to look weird.
Okay.
It's best to keep them refrigerated because dough just tastes better when it's refrigerated. It is what it is. Warm dough is just a little bit odd.
And when you talk about that, you're passionate about the culture of cookie making.
Yeah.
And there's one of the things I saw that put out was like, this is what your cookie looks like with too much flour.
Yeah.
This is what your cookie.
That, yeah.
That was a really good, insightful post.
Yeah.
And when you think about making cookies, that's one thing, but educating people on what to look for when you are purchasing cookies at your dispensary. So you guys represent the culture, and we touched on that. But what are you doing to educate people on what they should expect from your guys' products, and what can people expect from the quality in your guys' quality control?
Well, that's a good question. I think we ultimately we rely on the fact that we don't cut any corners of our initial product when we're putting them out. So there's not a lot of backpedaling when we're actually out on the market because we're so stringent on what goes out on the market. So I almost feel like I could do any blind review at any point with any stock that we're putting out, and it's going to be a consistent, same exact taste you get from every other flavor that you're eating. One of the reasons we do it by hand is to do that, to give every single cookie of ours is going to have the same kind of effect. High. You're going to get the same taste. So when you buy another tube of cookies, you expect to get exactly the greatness that you got in the previous one, and we spend a lot of time with that. And I think that is what's now resonating, and we're starting to build a pretty solid following. Especially in this LA market. We just since we talked last, we're now in the San Francisco market. So in San Francisco, you can get Cosmic now. We're in quite a few
so
shops,
you guys made an expansion up into
We did.
Northern California.
Yep.
So we're California wide, which is really big, especially.
And we're booming up there too. So it's really, really exciting.
Well, the representation means a lot, especially when you're a branded product that's finally made its way up north, because you already know people didn't just stop asking about it. They asked and asked and asked until they got it. So you're driving your own brand there. Some of these up and coming companies, they're bringing products to the market. What should people be on the lookout for when they're buying a company, and if they can't get the cosmic, what should you look for in a cookie that screams quality to you, that shows it's got a good shelf life, and actually the cannabis is dispersed correctly? And what are some of the things you should be on the lookout for?
Well, I mean, if you're just looking at the cookie, it's a little bit challenging. You have to taste it and eat it, since the experience is like that. But a lot of the cookies that are on the market, the infused ones, are made by machines. So, they kind of look like a little biscuit, like you can kind of tell because it doesn't look like, a scooped up cookie that's rolled into a cookie ball. Those cookies come out with, little cracks in them and ups and downs. These cookies look like they've been spit out by a machine. So that's something to look at. I think the packaging, a lot of them are just in bags and they kind of crumble up.
A lot of the bags, they crumble up. And
you can tell right out the rip you got a broken cookie in there.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Like our tubes, they keep it from like crumbling and stuff. So that's one of our big positives.
The smell, I mean, our cookies do smell like, baked cookies, fresh baked cookies. Open it up, take a smell, and that's what they smell like. If you open a bag and it doesn't smell like a cookie,
you should definfinly be
aware.
That.
Yeah.
So big passion on quality, big passion on the culture and the market. Now, when it comes to your guys' products and the flavors and what goes into them, are you guys sourcing your own ingredients? Are you growing your own? How does this go? How does the cannabis come into play in this? We've talked about it before,
sure.
But what is your method?
Well,
without revealing any proprietary secrets.
Yeah, no. We right now we do not grow our own, but we are looking at that. But we do use a grower in a lab, the same one consistently because we can get the same kind of products from them. But we look specifically at the oil that we get. We look really carefully at the lab reports to make sure that they meet the requirements that we're looking for. And typically it's not the 93% of the THC that you're looking at, it's the other stuff. And that's what we focus on because THC, basically coming out of these, a rec grower is going to be very similar. It's the other stuff that changes it.
Mm-hmm. So terpene profile,
CBD,
like that, CBD.
A lot of people would like the full spectrum stuff, so we try to go for that for sure.
Yeah, and the lab knows what we're looking for, so when we get restocked, they know specifically the kind of things, the kind of oil that we're looking for with the profile. So you have to build a nice reputation with the lab, so you get what you want, and it makes for a better product because you can get oil from multiple different, everybody's producing it at this point, but sticking with somebody who you trust in the process of extracting and distilling that they do is really important.
Well, I think their craft as much of a craft as yours is, right?
Yeah.
And they help you identify what terpene profiles might go best with your cookies. So what is important to you guys when you're looking for an oil? Is there a specific strain that has the terpene profiles that you prefer?
We do like to look for stuff that has like OGs.
Yeah.
And like I said, people do like the full spectrums. So we like to look at the lab reports and just make sure that it's like full spectrum and it's not just like one cannabinoid, you know what I mean? So we like to go for like if it has 10 cannabinoids on there, it's a wrap, you know what I mean? And it hits the 93%, then that's definitely in our ballpark.
All right.
We've been using a papaya quite a bit recently. I don't remember which one, but
very popular right now.
Yeah,
it's popular in extract, popular in flour. Of course, it would be great in edibles.
We've been dabbing it.
Now, when it comes to consumption, a lot of people are different the way they like to consume, and some people are just getting into this.
Yeah.
So let's talk about dosing.
Yep.
What's your preferred dosing technique with your cookies for yourself, and then what do you recommend for a beginner?
Well, me, I'm not 10 milligrams. I feel that some people don't at all, but I do. I mean, I guess it depends on how many cookies I eat. We just made a 20 milligrammer that's a boosted cookie, just as a special that we're putting out on a promo. So that's the only way you can get it. So that one's a little bit more powerful. But
nice.
these are just 10. Because that's the limit you can put in, a dosed edible. So we make them in the singles, and then we make them in a 10-pack that's 100 milligrams.
So for the beginner, then, if you're feeling pretty good off of a whole cookie off 10 milligrams,
I recommend a half.
Yeah, I'd say half. Yeah, and then if they don't feel it, do the whole cookie.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone's different. like for me, I can eat the whole thing, and
yeah,
I mean, I'll be super faded, but I can also eat one and feel it. You know what I mean? Especially when I'm working for some reason. Every time he's like, "Yo, taste this," and I'm working, and an hour later, I'm like, "Oh, why am I so faded?" Oh yeah, I ate that cookies and cream cookie.
So my metabolism's
you don't
way
consume
different.
while you work, though, do you, Christian?
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah,
Absolutely not. Chris.
Yeah, that's off hours there.
No, not Cosmic. I mean,
yeah, okay.
My other job.
Okay. Yeah.
My podcast job.
There we go. There we go.
In the dose, there's a spoon in there where you can dose out 10 milligrams, but these are dangerous, because they're so good. People, even when I start scooping, next thing I know, I'm 3 or 4 scoops in.
So there's a fine line between cookies, cookie dough, and depression.
Yeah.
Now, weed could cure that. And I'm convinced the edible Cosmic could be the link between me sitting at home, eating a whole thing of cookie dough to my face, and not being depressed about it. Not that I recommend you do this, okay? We will recommend proper dosing techniques. But I think that's going to be the secret that we're going to unlock when we come back next. We're going to take a quick commercial break, pay a couple bebills, maybe get you guys litterer than shitter, and Farm to Table Cannabis. Call in now, 562-653-0707.
We pull up anywhere as we want to. We just turn it up and party like we supposed to. If you are unaware, my people do not care. Have a good time is what you gonna do. We just pull up anywhere as we want to. We just pull up anywhere where we want to. If you are unaware, my people do not care. Pull up anywhere as we want to. I pull up anywhere 'cause I want to. I'm turning up your party with the whole crew. If you are unaware, got my people all in here. We don't really care what you gon' do. Blowing loud in the air like we supposed to. Have a good time, what you gon' do? If you are unaware, you have nothing to fear. Get a good vibe, what you gon' do? We pull up anywhere 'cause we want to. We just turning up the party like we supposed to. If you are unaware, my people do not care. Have a good time is what you gonna do. We just pull up anywhere 'cause we want to. We just pull up anywhere 'cause we want to. If you are unaware, my people do not care. We just pull up anywhere 'cause we want to.
Pull up, we get lit. Look at my wrist, look at my bitch, about to cook up. We got what you need, we got all them trees, yeah. The Olo is extinct, new low on them bees, yeah. We smoking that hash bar, thought I told you. Growing money over here for the whole crew. Got honeys over here, we really do not care. We just pull up to the party, bring that dro through.
We pull up anywhere 'cause we want to. We just turning up the party like we supposed to. If you are unaware, my people do not care. Have a good time is what you gonna do. We just pull up anywhere 'cause we want to. We just pull up anywhere 'cause we want to. If you are unaware, my people do not care. We just pull up anywhere 'cause we want to.
All right, we're back. Farm to Table Cannabis. We got the boys in studio from
Weed
Edibles
and boys.
Cosmic. About to get lit off these cookies. Saint, who was this? Who we just listening to? We got any Saint queued up to listen to?
That was the track by the same 562 right there, dog. That one's called Pull Up.
Pull Up.
Featuring Wolfman the Boss.
Yeah, you got to crack it there.
So
child-proof.
You got some child-proof packaging.
Do you need me to help you?
No, I think I can figure this one out. So, everyone at DFZ Radio listener land, this is the first attempt at opening up some of the new cannabis-infused cookie dough from Edibles Cosmic.
Do you see the flavor on that one?
So this one is Dopest Cookie Dough, a Dope as Yola edition. Now, I only know one Dope as Yola, in this world.
And how do you know him?
So, I mean, I wouldn't say I know him personally, but I'm just saying, you know.
Yeah. We got together to do this collaboration. He's a big fan of our products, and he's a vegan, so it just made sense. And I respect all his work he's done in cannabis, and he's a big consumer himself. And so one of the things, can you grab that? One of the things he said is like my fans, 10 milligram cookie doesn't work. So that's why we developed this cookie dough, which is a little smaller than this container. It's because that's made to make one cookie that's 100 milligrams.
I see.
There's a little tiny spoon in it, but that's almost a joke because that's 10 milligrams. If you fill that with dough, that's 10 milligrams. Yeah. So because
this
most
is 10 milligrams right here.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
mini,
10 milligrams.
mini cookie.
Yeah. Because the whole thing's 100, so it's intended to make one cookie, and nobody's really using it.
Let's do this right then. Let's do this right.
Yeah, that's one little
It's
tiny
like
tin.
Play-Doh.
Yeah.
So that is edible cookie dough.
Yep.
From Edibles Cosmic, and you can just
Shout out Dope is Yola.
That doesn't suck at all. Dope is Yola.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, it's got some.
Yeah, it's fire.
Dehydrated marshmallows in there.
This is so
sprinkles.
dangerous.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
This
bro.
is so dangerous. So
it is. Yeah, we hear that a lot.
100 milligrams.
Yep. Yeah, it's a solid 100 too. It's not gonna disappoint. Let's put it that way.
Well, fuck it. Let's ruin my night. I'm ready.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Yeah. So we put it out, and it's catching on pretty quick. Our dough line is actually growing much faster than our cookie line, just because we're one of the only infused doughs on the market now.
So the cookie dough is a unique way to infuse.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this, though, because you guys are known for the quality.
Yep.
How's it bake up? When I pull this out and I put that teaspoon in there, and I really want me a big size cookie.
It'll look just like these if you keep them in the refrigerator. That's what we do because we keep our dough refrigerated. So then when you cook it, it actually cooks up a little bit more fluffy, like a cake cookie, like what you expect a cookie to be. So that's all you got to do with that.
Damn.
Yeah, it'll bake up, and that it's really funny because we get a lot of social media people who take it home, bake their different shapes, different sizes, and they post up videos of their cookies, after they've baked them. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah, I'm about to go Cookie Monster on this. It's just fire.
Yeah, that's the chocolate chip. That's the original.
Dope as Yola put up a YouTube video. He makes like 10 of them or something.
Made a whole sheet of
like a whole sheet of
we
them.
Gotta get him to mention it in a freaking lyric.
That'd be lit.
Yeah, for sure.
Lil Wayne lyric.
So check it out though, Saint.
Yo.
These motherfucking things right here would ruin this entire studio. I say we play a little prank on the boys later, and
I know BMC is gonna want to dabble in that.
So Black Market ate about 10 of those fucking cookies last time you guys were on the show. It was crazy. I've never seen somebody withstand such a hurricane storm of THC.
Yummy.
Yeah, the guy took it like a champ. So let's talk about dietary restrictions. People are all like serious about plant-based.
Yep.
People don't want egg. People want this. So let's talk about what makes you guys different than some of the products on the market right now, and why you're more focused toward the health-conscious side of it.
Well, when I first developed these recipes, which the dough is the exact same recipes as the cookies, so outside of the flour being heated, that's the only difference between the two, because when you bake the cookie, the flour gets baked anyway, so it's okay. So I really sourced. I spent a lot of time sourcing the best ingredients I can find, and there's certain ingredients that you really have to focus on. Organic, non-bleached flour is what it is. There's multiple different brands that make it, so you can kind of just find one that works for your costs and stuff. But things like the egg replacer, all your different powders that you put them in, like the cocoa powder or the peanut. We use a peanut butter powder on this flour instead of actual peanut butter.
Okay.
Because it takes a lot of the fat out of the peanut butter before it goes in. So this peanut butter cookie will have less fat than a normal peanut butter cookie, because
you've taken out
the fats come out of it already. Yeah, and we actually reduced the sugar in these because originally I developed them for my mom, who's a little bit older, and I didn't want, she was going to take one of these.
We want these to be forgiving.
Yeah, and be able to eat one every day, and I didn't want to feed my mother all these, all this crap every single day. That.
Well, what are your thoughts on that right now? Because there's so much of that in the edible game right now. People are most of the time thinking about this product when they're eating it, I would think, is a health food. They're trying to alleviate, or maybe recreational is great and everything, but still, some people are more likely to get diabetes than they are to catch an actual buzz because of the low the low THC input.
Yep.
You guys are breaking the ground right now with 100 milligram product specialties that you can get at your local dispensaries. What is a dispensary that you can pick up this limited edition release at?
Oh man, Dope is Yola. There's Euflora right here in Long Beach.
They changed their name.
Oh yeah, Kushgram.
Kushgram, yeah, they're Kushgram now.
King's Crew, Common Collective.
Yeah.
These are all in Long Beach.
High Note should pick them up.
Yeah, High Note should pick them up.
Pick them up, High Note.
We're in a handful already.
Yeah.
They launched about a month ago, and I would say like 20 dispensaries already picked them up.
You can find all the locators on our website where we're
check out their website, ediblescosmic.com.
No, Cosmic Edibles. It's actually Cosmic
Edibles.
You can say it any way you want, though.
It's the logo that I read backwards.
So
I'm dyslexic.
where do you go on there?
CosmicEdibles.com. There's a locator.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because our Instagram is Edibles Cosmic, but
yeah, because we lost two of them
the same
already, so I had to swap the name, switch it around. I had to put a dot between them, and now I'm an underscore between them because Instagram keeps,
Just keep deleting.
And now with the Dope is Yola shit, they're back on our ass.
Of course, yeah.
They're all over him.
You get a little exposure, and they want to delete you guys for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yep. But that's why I think it's so important that you do have that Dope is Yola extremely medicated flavor.
Yeah.
Because that way you can take lower doses and get that technique down before you start dabbling into the a full cookie.
Yeah.
Like a quarter of a cookie for some people, we all got that one horror story, but we're hearing less and less of the horror stories now.
It's because they're dosed out, you know what I mean? That's what I tell people. I'm like, you know what? If you had a horror story, just go to your local dispensary. You'll find cookies that are dosed out, you know what I mean?
People are learning more and more about the education of, taking edibles and I
mean, back then it was 1,000 mg, or you didn't even know how many mgs, and you would eat the whole thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, we were just at a fish concert, and someone said, "Eat this," you ate it.
Yeah,
like, right. You didn't know if you're going to be tripping or if you're going to be fucking falling.
Yeah, exactly. Because they could be duds too, or 1,000 mg. You just never knew. So.
Well, that's one of the things too that you guys are big on is the dispersion and the emulsification into your ingredients, into your product. So your first bite's going to be as potent as your last bite.
Yep.
So let's talk about some of the consistency or lack thereof in the industry and how you guys are able to bridge that gap.
Well, I mean, that's the one thing I think we focused on the most, to be honest, because
it wasn't the vegan ingredients. It wasn't the
none of that.
Plant.
That all just followed. Because to us, that's just a vehicle taking the cannabis to your ingestion. Ingesting the cannabis. You don't go to a dispensary to buy the best cookies you can buy. You go to a dispensary to buy cannabis, and whether you want it in a cookie or a joint or concentrates, that's the decision you have to make. So we wanted to make sure that the customers were buying ours knew that they could be consistent. So, we hand roll every single one of them. We hand weigh every single one of them. The process that we go, the amount of times we mix the cannabis.
The amount of times we measure too.
Multiple.
We
measure. And so, I mean, that's part of it. It's it's our kind of our one secret that we maintain, because anybody can make a great. Depends on your ingredients that you mix in and stuff. You can make 2,000, 3,000 different variations of a chocolate chip cookie, and ours is a specific one. So if you like that, but it's the process of actually putting it into. We're never worried about our lab reports, now, because we're so spot on with the way we do it, and it's just such a machine, and we've dialed it in so well because it has to be handmade. We don't have any machines, we're not doing it that way. Our mixers are old school. They literally weigh every ball, throw it on a scale.
You got stats on how many cookies you're putting out a day?
How many right now we're putting out a day?
Yeah.
We're doing about 30,000 a month right now. So
you hear that, Saint?
Yeah.
That's a lot of cookies.
Yeah.
That's a lot of friggin' cookies.
Yeah, I think the last time we were here, we were
That's
probably
almost enough to get black market high.
In the I think we've doubled since the last time we were in here.
Oh,
about 15,000 a month. But we're really pushing to get up to near 100,000. So with these additional markets, like we're not in San Diego yet, so we're going to start expanding down there. We're really trying to market, try to capitalize on this San Francisco market and get, fully in it. Most of the shops we're in, I think we're in about 70 now. Most of them we're in. We're the best, baked product that they have.
Well, I mean, 4 years later, 4 years later, and you guys are still like.
Yeah.
Everyone's trying to do Me Too. Yeah. So many people are trying to have the cookie product. Oh, look what we did.
Yeah.
It's a show me product like you guys, but you guys have been doing it.
Yeah.
And with that longevity and that consistency came the accolades. Yeah. So you guys also got awards.
I mean, I think just brands in general, like you'll see, 4 years ago, you'll see a bunch of brands. A lot of them aren't here today. You know what I mean? It's the consistency and just pushing forward.
Well, you had a career. You could have.
did, yeah.
You could have not. This was not the easy route.
No.
Getting into the
Definitely
edible
not.
game.
Yeah.
People think
No.
it's just so much fun. Just you gotta, you can't even
For a
cook
minute.
you can't even cook in your own kitchen. You gotta. There's so much overhead. The shit gets complicated for the real legit edible makers.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why it's so lucrative in the black market to cook with cannabis.
Yeah, for sure. It's much
because
easier.
you can't,
Much easier.
It's so much easier.
Yeah.
There's so much less overhead and bureaucry.
Yeah.
So
They made me
that's
certified.
my third time saying bureaucracy in one fucking episode.
Yeah.
We just said the crazy word of the day. Hey, Pee Wee
Crazy word
Herman.
of-
Yeah,
bureaucracy.
So
They made me certify. I'm a master measuring technician.
he's a master measuring cookie maker.
Yeah,
bro.
yeah. They made me certify my scale, and I had to take a test on the scale in order. Come on.
They're like
It's
way
kinda
out
BS.
1 gram.
It's no different
Yeah.
than it's no different than the deli. It's no different than they've professionalized and found a way to make more
Yeah.
money off of weighing things.
Yeah.
And,
Moving
Yeah.
from your kitchen to a commercial operation is very difficult.
well, let's talk about scaling up too,
Yeah.
because a lot of people can grow in a tent. A lot
Yeah.
of people can't grow commercially. A lot of people
Yeah.
can cook an edible in their kitchen, but they could never work
Yeah.
for an industrial
Yeah, I mean,
cannabis kitchen. So
and small cannabis businesses don't survive. It is what it is. This business is not made for the small ones. I mean, we did it a little differently. You have to be lean and mean. You have to go with the punches. You have to be, just keep pushing forward no matter what. I've had to raise some money to get over some of these humps. Last year was difficult. We got robbed last year. Somebody took 63,000 cookies from us. It's ridiculous. But, yeah.
On fucking
a
Christmas,
fucking
bro.
Cookie monster.
Yeah, right
a
before
literal
Christmas.
cookie
Yeah,
monster.
literally.
Fuck that guy.
7 minutes in and out. 12
On
of
Christmas,
It was like
That's
11
how
of
you know
them.
how
Yeah.
fire these cookies are, y'all.
Yeah.
These guys' cookies
It
are
was
so
Santa.
fire
It was
that
Santa.
these people will steal them.
Yeah,
They're
they came
sending
and
in
robbed
a
us.
rob crew like it's Ocean's 13 cookie, the revenge.
Straight up.
And
You know,
dude,
Wow.
Although
So-
we have an insurance policy.
that never feels good.
It's-
And in
it's
the
a-
cannabis industry, insurance policies aren't
Oh.
cheap because they look at us and they
Yeah.
drool. Anything in this industry.
Yeah.
You want to get something built? More money because you're in the cannabis
Yeah,
industry.
it's
Oh, you want an
ridiculous.
oven? Oh, you're in
Yeah.
the cannabis industry.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Cannabis
It's
oven.
ridiculous.
Oh, he's a
yeah.
Oh, that's a specialty made cannabis oven. See the
Like-
see the switch right here. We got to switch it
Yeah.
when you make cooking
Oh,
cannabis.
man.
stuff.
Yeah, even our rent is higher because we're cannabis. Man.
Yeah,
That's
everything.
fucked up.
Yeah.
Everything.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, as the edible maker who pays full price for the ingredients,
Yeah.
pays shipping both ways,
Yeah.
taxes too.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
are some of the pitfalls that other people could get in that can avoid by not making cookies and making something else? Like, what's been some of the more challenging parts of it?
I mean, the whole. Where do I start? Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been a lot of challenges, to be honest. And cookies aren't. You really should know cookies well if you're gonna push them out commercially, because you've got to know how to fix things really fast when they're going in. And there's water loss you gotta take into account. You got the heat, the oven temperatures. The mixing process to make sure that your entire batch is fully that as you say, that the 10 milligrams is everywhere. And that's a big challenge, to get through that and get your lab tests right was really challenging.
Because people are still forgetting there's baking techniques that go into this whole thing.
Yeah, I know.
There's a ton.
Yep.
There's a ton of stuff you have to go through just to be like a certified baker.
Yeah.
And then let alone to be specialized in cookies.
Yep.
And now let's throw cannabis into the mix.
Yep.
And a viscous new ingredient that's
Yeah.
sticky and it's not pliable with some of the other
Yep.
fats
Right.
or components of the cookie.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of trial and error in there, and
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys learned a lot doing this cooking. But when it comes to starting your own company
Yep.
and cooking with whether it be a cookie or whether it be doing medicated dinner parties,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna take it back to the original, because we're almost 10 minutes away from shutting down here.
All right.
Marketing at all costs, man, or the culture.
Culture. Yeah.
Culture.
I mean, marketing is an interesting world in this business, but culture furtherly, and that's why we don't do a lot of marketing. Yeah, a little bit, but not a lot. We do more of these collaborations, because they kind of work for us, and it gets us out there. And if he's a fan, his supporters, his followers, we're gonna try it, and we're not. Once somebody tries it, they're a fan. We very rarely get people who go, ugh, we don't, this is shit. But I don't think it's ever happened.
It's like Dope as Yola is the culture, you know what I mean? And he's got his
Yeah.
own fan base, so it's like he's marketing himself every day, you know what I mean?
And you know, the reason I put it, you know, we collaborated on this, and we kind of, you know, came up with the flavors and this, and I worked with him on it. Well, you know, what you can get that's vegan, that's in bulk, that's always makes your decision, you know, because a lot of the stuff you can't get in bulk, and if you can't
you're
get in
throwing
bulk,
a party and you want vegan edible cookies, there's not a lot of names in the game.
Yeah. So one of the things I did with him was put his name on it, you know, right on the packaging. This way he can, you know, it's his dough too. And his name's right on it.
So how many more collaborations do you guys expect in the next upcoming year? Are you guys going to continue down this path? Do you have anything in the pipeline? I know you can't mention it, but
we do have a special thing we're working on with some resin, so we're excited about that. We're going to put out a resin cookie, and it's a really big resin company, well respected.
Oh, so you're gonna have some actual resin put inside the. Is your extract inputs?
Yep.
Wow.
And we're working on a nano, you know, which it's a little different because the amount is a little different, but we're playing with that. The problem is they're really full spectrum, so it does change the taste.
And you're
going
to have more of a cannabis taste inside than you would if you were just using distillate.
Yeah.
So why do you think right now the big popular thing in edibles is rosin? People want that. Is it people want that taste, or is it the full spectrum aspect of it?
I think it's that. Plus the process, you know, it's a real clean process. So I think a lot of people are into that, you know, getting away from all the chemicals they use for the extractions. Okay. So I think the process of extracting that is the appeal. It's really clean, you know.
Full spectrum is definitely part of it too. A lot of people, full spectrum is in right now.
Yeah,
so hot right now.
And then we're really pushing to expand across the country, which is a big thing for us. So we will be in Massachusetts by 2022.
What made you jump to Massachusetts next? Because is it a bigger market than like say Michigan or Arizona, some of these other legalized states?
No, but it's one of the emerging ones. You know, it never was medical prior to their recreational medical, you know, passing. So it's a new world. It's a new frontier. There's not a lot of edibles out there. So it was an easy choice. Plus, I know people there, and so it made it a lot easier. We're working with a pretty large company there, who we're going to collaborate with and make them in Massachusetts.
They have one of the biggest cultivation facilities in Mass. So
yeah, so it'll be single source too, which will be really great because we'll get all the products straight from them, and they will have grown it. So we're excited about that. We're looking at Michigan. That's the next place we're going to go. And then we're just going to start expanding, you know, to other states.
So it's like things get regional real quick, right?
Yeah.
Like California's chocolate chip.
Yeah.
Right? It's like it just seems like that's the thing. But you go to the South, and that ain't the fucking cookie.
Yep.
I didn't know that shit.
Yeah.
Like I just assumed everybody was chocolate chip over everything.
Right.
Because out here it's just where it is. So like demographically, what are some of like, you know, the weird things you see? Because we got the soft bake people.
Yeah.
Soft bake cookie only. When I was in culinary school and I was taking baking classes, they would put an emphasis on teaching how to underbake cookies.
Yeah.
Where there's other places you go back east, they want that snap.
Yeah.
They want that almost that molasses crunch.
Yep.
Totally.
That's not even our number one seller anymore.
The molasses?
No, our chocolate chip.
Chocolate chip?
Yeah, the cookies and cream, our new flavor, that's outsold at like doubles. And then Snickerdoodle's taking over number exactly. Yeah.
Vegan inputs.
Yep.
And it touches on both of those soft and crunchy cookies, you know, because we got a little crunchy outside and the inside is really soft and chewy.
Yep. So let me put you guys through the cookie gauntlet, all right?
Yeah.
Rapid fire cookie questions. Soft bake or hard bake for you?
Soft, yeah.
Nuts
I like
or no
hard
nuts?
bake for me.
Oh,
no
yeah.
nuts.
No
nuts.
No nuts?
Nuts, yeah.
I like walnuts.
You do?
Cookies, man. That's fucking fire.
Yeah.
I like to eat the walnuts in the cookie until my tongue's numb.
Yeah. Your tongue gets numb from walnuts?
Yeah, I eat too many.
Oh.
Yeah, no, you guys don't?
No.
I thought that was a thing. All right, we just learned that one. What about pineapple?
I think you might be allergic.
You might be allergic to this.
Did you say pineapple?
Pineapple, does it fuck with your mouth?
No.
Yeah, okay.
Huh.
I like pineapples.
Maybe we should rapid fire questions at you.
No, I'm thinking we're learning a lot. See, this is why we do rapid fire. We
This or
learn
that.
a
This
lot.
or that.
We're learning a lot here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So like when you're cooking at home, like are you a vegan or do you just prefer that in your edibles?
Well, I'm plant. I like to eat
He's
more plant-based, but I'll eat meat.
You can't answer
Yeah.
wrong plant-based in DFZ Radio
Yeah,
Studio.
I mean,
we're all plant-based here. We just happen to be some plant meat eaters.
Yeah, for sure.
I believe in, like, you know, all of our food should come naturally, and we shouldn't, like, go in and just scoop out every fish in the fucking ocean and chop it up. I mean, I you know, there's ways to get meat that's more humane and, you know, and doesn't destroy land and
The same way you sustainably source your cannabis and sustainably source your ingredients for
Absolutely.
your cookies.
Yeah.
And that's it's a method that people are getting more and more into. That's literally why we go by the farm to table.
Even
show,
our
the
chocolate
slow food
chips,
movement.
man. We did our research.
Wait a minute, where's your chocolate
it's
coming
crazy.
from?
Yeah, it's
crazy.
Yeah,
I don't even
we
think
use
we
Enjoy, the brand Enjoy.
Okay.
They make one of the, you know, the best bulk chocolate
People
chip
don't
cookies.
understand there's a big difference between chocolate in America and chocolate
Oh,
in other
yeah,
countries.
for sure. Yep.
We have a
Yep.
fucked up palate for chocolate.
We do, yeah.
Like if you have
Yeah.
chocolate in Germany, you will never be able to eat regular chocolate
No,
again.
yeah, for sure.
It's
Yep.
it's a crazy thing. So I think sourcing your chocolate too is very important. Again,
It is,
you know,
yeah.
making it the sustainable aspect of it.
Yeah,
So
sir.
what is next for you guys in the upcoming year? Provided we can still go to events and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Will we see you at MJ BizCon? Will we see you at some
No.
of these edible sessions?
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll be at Hall of Flowers out in Palm
Finally.
Springs in December. Finally,
That's a must.
Yeah, we'll be up in the Santa Rosa one too, but we don't have a booth. We're just gonna wander around and network with them. But we do have a booth at the Palm
Hall of
Springs one.
Flowers.
Yeah, we don't do a lot of that stuff just because we really focus on, you know, making sure that
Grassroots marketing.
that's it. Yeah, I mean, and that's our grow, and we distribute all of our own products too. I mean, we literally drive them all across the state because we can get cookies there faster, they're fresher than going through a distributor. So we do all of our
So you
own.
do not have a distributor.
No, mm-mm.
No, we have our own
You
distro
are
license.
independent
so.
grind.
We are, yeah.
Out the
Yep.
back of the
Yep.
trunk.
Yeah, gee, you know, one of our guys. I mean,
Refrigerated van slam.
Yeah,
there's only 5 of
mobile.
us. I mean,
Jeez.
5
Shout
of
out-
us run the whole place and make
Shout out
30,000
G.
cookies.
Yeah,
That's
G just came
commendable.
back from San Fran.
Yeah, he took a whole
today.
load up at San Francisco.
Yeah, he slept up there at one of our buddies' hotels.
I'm sure you guys joke about it all the time. This is a great reality show concept right here. Just
Yeah.
cookies on the road, man.
Yeah, basically.
Cookies on the road.
Yeah, yeah. Christian
That's a
yesterday
nice
was in
name.
Palm Springs, and G was up
Yeah.
in San Francisco, and we're making dough in the kitchen.
So
How-
it's safe to say you're all about your dough.
All about
yeah.
it, though. Well done. So how has the community accepted you, and not talking cannabis community, just like your local areas and stuff? Because getting in with the local jurisdiction for Cannabis Kitchen is not easy, and jumping through
No.
those hoops, how has they accepted you?
Oh, fine. I mean, LA is challenging. Let's be honest. It's not a.
Food friendly for everyone, but the cannabis food friendly guys.
Yeah,
you
I
could
mean,
fucking literally sell hot dogs on the street at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, but
no
not me.
fucking license needed, not a problem. And I'm happy for those people. Good for them.
Why you hating?
But the fact that we can't fucking just
I know.
open up a cannabis
Yeah,
food
it's
truck
terrible.
and head on down and check
Ooh,
people's
cannabis-
IDs.
cannabis food-
Yeah.
We
That's
can't
why-
check IDs. Come
Yeah.
on, I can check
Yeah.
Like
fucking
we would
ID.
love to open a bakery one day where you can bake it right on site and give it
Yeah.
to you. You know what I mean? That was,
baking classes, things like
Yeah.
that. When are we getting Kevin's baking classes?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, let's do that. But
need
well,
that ASAP.
we worked with the health department first, and that really helped out with the city. So we went and got our health permit before we even got our cannabis permit, which is a big gamble because if I didn't get the cannabis license, then I would have just spent all that money getting the health permit, and I would have probably been making regular cookies.
So
I mean,
for everyone listening, what order is the best order to go in? Health permit, then licensing, or licensing, then health permit?
well, it worked for us, you know. I mean, we went literally. I literally got a health permit all the way through to the end of the bakery, and it was issued. And then I went to the cannabis and said, "Here, I got this. I want a, I want a cannabis license." And they basically said, "Wow, okay, you only got like 2 things to do." I mean, so it kind of worked for us, but it's a big gamble because you know you could end up not getting the cannabis license and have a bakery that you're not using.
Last rapid fire
Yep.
question. When you start to
Okay.
get high off this shit, you start feeling it right in the back of your ear. Your ears start to get hot. That's how I start. When I start feeling the edibles, my ear gets hot and
Yeah.
it turn red.
Oh, yeah.
I start feeling just a little bit, you know.
Yeah,
I
totally.
start moving a little bit. I start getting a little sway. They call me Patrick Sway.
That's awesome.
There it is. There it
Yeah.
is.
There he is. I got my
Yeah.
sway on.
Yeah.
But so the flavors, you got the cookie dough.
Yep.
Dope as Yola. You
Yep.
got the original chocolate chip cookie dough.
Yep.
And then you've got the peanut butter,
And the cookies and cream.
which is Guys, the peanut butter is a problem. You probably just sit there with a spoon and eat that whole damn thing.
So fire.
Yeah.
10 milliliters or 10 milligrams a scoop.
Yep.
That's a 5 milliliter scoop you got in there. What is that?
This one's a tablespoon scoop.
That's a tablespoon.
So this one will
scoop,
make
so
a half
15.
decent little cookie.
Wow. So
Yeah.
you got a nice scoop in there. That's gonna
Yep.
get you 10 milligram size cookie. You can even satisfy your appetite and get lit while you're doing it.
Yeah.
So
I tend to put too many scoops in my mouth because they're pretty darn good.
I want to eat more of this, and I already feel it in my ears, and I'm starting to get a little
You do?
sway, so I don't
Nice.
want to do it too much. I might have to counteract it with a dab.
Yeah.
That's the one thing too. You know, like you got tips and tricks because you see people they take a couple of these too much. What's your go-to bring you back if somebody ate too much?
Milk.
Milk for you?
Yeah. Well, almond milk. Let's be honest.
Almond milk?
We're plant-based.
For me,
yeah.
just water.
Yeah.
And then smoke a blunt. Not just like
high CBD,
just keep
fucking
going.
dab.
Run around the block.
But honestly, like some water and a nap, and you're good to go.
That's the great thing about it is we're still learning about cannabis every day.
Yeah.
Every day's a lesson. We're like doctors. We're practicing. We're always practicing.
Exactly, man.
You guys have got an amazing routine down with your cookies. We love supporting you guys and getting you in here.
Thank you.
It's been too long, but check out the new Reigning Supreme cookies and cream.
Oh yeah.
This
Has
is
it
the
really been
business
2
now.
years? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Ask your local dispensary. Hey, you got Cosmic Edibles? And if not, you better get them in. Highest quality, vegan, plant-based. And the people doing it are doing it for all the right reasons. So, Kevin, thank you so much. If you weren't doing this, man, and you weren't doing the edible industry and you weren't back in social media,
Yeah.
I mean, excuse me, I said social media.
Yeah, sorry, television.
I meant reality television, which is basically social media now, right? What would you be doing, man?
Well, I don't know. I tend to pick things that are just wacky things I like. I mean, you know, I've never chased a career that's a standard career. I love television. I'm like, no matter what, I'm going to get into this. And I did, and I excelled. I got all the way to a point where I could sell my own shows, which is, great. And then I just looked stuff started slowing down. So I just started looking at other things and started making these for my mom and thought, hey, cannabis is cool. I'm a consumer. I like to use it. I like what it does for me. I like what it does for people. So I'm like, I'm going to get into this business. It was emerging. They just passed 64. I'm like, let's do it.
You got into the crazy time, and
time.
you're still here years later, over 5 years later. How many years you guys been doing this?
Four now.
Total?
Yep, 4 now.
So 4 years later, you guys are still in it, doing it right.
We are, yeah.
Christian's still around, too, slanging up and down the
He
coast.
is, yeah.
And Massachusetts is on the way. So
It
check
is,
them out
yeah.
at cosmicedibles.com. You can find out on the store locator where you can pick them up. And a big thank you from Farm to Table Cannabis to Cosmic Edibles for keeping us educated and medicated.
Yeah.
I'm going to eat some of this Dope as Yola. Big shout out to Dope as Yola. And Saint, can you play some Dope as Yola on the way out or what?
Let me pull it up. Hold on.
I don't know.
You got some tracks? Where's it at?
No, I don't think does Dope have any.
I'm not sure, honestly.
No.
He might have like a YouTube thing.
Yeah, he's got something on there, but we'll follow up.
Yeah, check him out, though.
But we're going to be back. We'll be back with the Heavy Tea Grow Show here in about 15 minutes. DFZ Radio, Farm to Table Cannabis. Thank you, Christian. Thank you, Kev. Let's take some dabs.
Yeah, right on. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
And it's rap, everybody.
Yeah, dfzradio.com. Heavy T's Grow Show coming up next. Check out this track right here, All About My Dough. Just like Cosmic Edibles. We are in the studio live. Call in 562-653-0707. 562-653-0707. All About My Dough by the Saint 562. Let's go.
Get in my way and I'm about to squeeze. I rush through life, hoping it dust you. Smoke through the pipe, inhale the dust fumes. We bust moves, spraying the fuck crews. Rushing through the lane, thousands on crushed cubes. Big stack of cash, let's see what I run through. Big black strap, let's see what my gun do. Zigzag the mag, deleting your 1-2. Get back, relax. We live the life of a star. Call out hard and keep it sight for the law. ST chain was the price on the charm. Enough to get your wife on my arm. And tonight twice in the morning. Fresh tees and Nikes that are wrong. West is the side that I'm on. I ain't playing when I'm saying I'm a pro at it. So let me see and I'll throw a little dough at it. I'm all about my dough. I'm all about my cheese. I'm all about my hoes. Get in my way and I'm about to squeeze. I'm all about my dough. I'm all about my cheese. I'm all about my hoes. Get in my way and I'm about to squeeze. I'm on the red jack, coke mail on the yak, drove
go. Shorty, move your back slow. Sure, I wanna tap those. Lot of weed, lot of dro, lot of cheese, lot of dough. Lot of liquor in my system giving me a hotter flow. How many blunts, man, I'm blowing on 9. That's how many women that be blowing my mind. In the club, you can find a nigga like me saying fuck a dress code all up in my white tee. Lie, like my nigga YB. Plus I'm fizzing in the building. You don't wanna try me, I be a cold motherfucker in the party with a 40 getting blow, motherfucker. I go, not too dummy. Just in case a nigga try and get me for my money, I'ma be steady. Long Beach at it, rolling up them purple leaves like a weed addict. I'm all about my dough. I'm all about my cheese. I'm all about my hoes. Get in my way and I'm about to squeeze. I'm all about my dough. I'm all about my cheese. I'm all about my hoes. Get in my way and I'm about to squeeze.
We do it right when we ball. Can't go wrong. Every night, different broad.
New 2-4 sitting nice on the car. Pull your wifey and your baby ma.
Ice on the charm, ounce of the draw. Tell you motherfuckers I'm about my dough.
Money, hoes, clothes, all a nigga knows. Tricked out whips with the suicide doors. Get money, nigga. I'm all about my dough.